Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, very special occasion today on this episode of The Wrestling Diaries. Podcast show for the average Joe, inspiration station, blue collar conversation. I'm your host, Mitchell Roulane. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a host of other platforms that have audio podcasts. Leave us a review. It helps us show up in the algorithm for the video content. Go to YouTube, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell right there for more content we release a couple times a week. Videos also on Spotify. I implore you to check that out. What do people from everyday, the middle society, blue collar, white collar people wrestle with? I've had a couple of high-end people on here, a couple of celebrities, a bunch of prima donnas. The next person is not a celebrity, but also a prima donna.
Both.
This guy was on episode number 1, numero uno, Mr. Giorgio Fareira! Oh my God, it's episode 100. He was episode 1, our inauguration of the show, and now he's back for our century mark. Oh my goodness. Here he is from the interstate life, Giorgio Fareira. You got like the best announcement ever.
I love it. Yeah.
What's up, man?
Dude.
It's been quite a while.
It has been. I haven't.
From episode 1 to 100.
Yeah. And I haven't seen you since then, and you look the same.
Right. That was like almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, how about dim apples?
Well, they're nutritious and good for you. I'm going to point it out. I'm sure lots of viewers who are watching on YouTube noticed the wonderful accidental pun that Mitchell made earlier about the blue collar conversation, and he's actually wearing a shirt with a blue collar.
Exactly.
While having a conversation.
And I guess we don't zoom in on this show because Matt, you know how he is. But it says The Interstate Life, which is the name of your band.
That's right.
And also another little thing that's noteworthy, rather. This was the shirt that I wore on episode 1 when you were on here.
Nice. You know,
that's why I wore it again. Not just because this is your band, but also because I wore this on episode 1. Might as well wear it again.
See, this is why we're friends. So literally right before I left, I checked what I was wearing on the first episode. I was like, I could wear it again. But I realized that was like when I was wearing all black all the time. I was like, I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to wear the opposite. I'm going to wear a white shirt. So that's
fresh, man.
I based my outfit on what I wore last time too.
It's so funny. Like, it's such a superficial thing. Like, I didn't even go. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't go back and listen to the episode. For any repeat guest that listens to this little bit right now on the show, if I've had you on more than once, the second time, third time, which actually I don't think I've had anybody on for 3 times yet. But I didn't go back and watch your show. I just was like, oh, kind of remembered, sort of didn't. Here we are.
Yeah.
So all I remember is on, it was our very first show. I was still trying to come into my own and figure out what I wanted to do with this platform and this content. And so before getting more, I guess, into my groove, you know, just going through over stuff. It was kind of easy for you because I just leaned on the fact that you had this like internet celebrity status for a while. Like you had your viral video and you're on Ellen, who was canceled for a little while ago. Anyway, she was canceled because of some bad stuff that went down. And then fast forward, her show came back. She apologized, different things. And then her show is canceled. Or not canceled, I guess it ran its course or something.
Yeah, had a really long run, man.
Very true.
That's a very successful show.
Probably one of the longest running talk shows.
Probably.
Definitely up there.
Yeah. I think it was close to, if not more than 20 years.
Do you and Ellen still keep in touch?
Of course, yeah. She comes over to dinner twice a week.
Dang it, I've got to get better at my poker from each other. You and Ellen still keep up with each other?
No, I haven't talked to her since 2012.
Who would? She's just a terrible person.
No, she's great. She's hilarious.
Hey, according to those tabloids, she wasn't that great.
Well, I think those tabloids are wrong. Ellen, you're great. I like you. And I hope you keep doing great things.
Matt, cut his audio. So, you, sir, first of all, before I get into like bigger events in your life, we'll go to a little bit smaller. You are nursing an injury.
Yeah.
Hence, I'm assuming why you're wearing shorts, which is interesting because I don't know if I've ever seen you wear shorts outside of like us going swimming.
It's literally what I said to my wife as I was leaving the door. I was like, I'm going to have to do something that I hate doing and that I never do unless I'm playing tennis or swimming. And she's like, what are you talking about?
It's like this dramatic thing.
Yeah, it was a whole dramatic moment. Like, oh, I think I should wear shorts because I think I need to keep letting this wound air out, and wearing jeans like I do literally 100% of the time is not a good idea for that.
Ouchies.
Yeah.
So tell us about your injury and why you're. But first, I will also say you look good in shorts, though. Like no smoke, no blowing smoke.
Wow.
Like you look good in shorts.
I'm taken, Mitchell. All right, keep it in your pants.
You're taken.
I'm taken. I got this ring. Look at that, bling bling.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not
we're
very
gonna get into that a little bit later on,
Yeah.
definitely.
But yeah, so
I will find you and I will kill you.
I flew up to Colorado last Monday, and got in early in the morning, so I had the whole day to hang out. And that evening, my current father-in-law, wanted to go brewery hopping and ride bikes, and so he and Taylor rode their bikes to the first brewery, and I rode over with his cousin. And then he was like, all right, well, we're going to keep going, but do you want to ride, Gio? And I was like, yeah, man, totally. So I rode with him to the next place. We hung out, had a few drinks, and then we were going back to the house, which is a good 12-mile ride. Basically, we get across the street from the brewery, and my phone starts ringing, and I'm like, It's in my pocket. And I'm like, oh, shoot, like we just left. Maybe this is Taylor or somebody, like maybe something happened.
Yeah.
But instead of stopping the bike and checking the phone, I decided, you know where this is going?
I do not. I laugh at everything, man. I'm just giggly.
You would. So I decided to check my phone while I was riding. And then a pterodactyl came and flew straight into my face.
Oh, man.
And almost bit me on the neck, but I dodged it. But then I fell off the bike. So the phone had nothing to do with me falling. It was
right.
There was
pterodactyl.
There was a pterodactyl, yeah.
Right. Okay. We got moose stories. We got pterodactyl stories. You checked your phone. Like, that's great. Like,
It's the dumbest thing I've done in a long time.
I thought you were smart. Like, what? Like, when I heard this story outside of you, I was like, what? Oh, he was an intellectual.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, world.
So what exactly happened? Like, you checked your phone, you hit the thing. Like,
I checked my phone. It was actually my sister. I was like, I can deal with this later. Crap. What do I do with my phone? I got to try to maneuver it back into my pocket. And so I did. And then I looked up and like the road was ending. And I just freaked out and just squeezed the front brake, which is always the one you want to hit by itself. And immediately ate it.
Did you do like
No. It was just it was a good little fall and slide and scrape. You know, probably going to have some scars on my hand.
I see.
Which would be cool to have. There's a little scrapey scrape there. But I must have landed knee first because that's the worst part.
Yeah, dude.
My knee.
I'm looking at his knee right now, ladies and gents. Swollen. There's a big gaping hole.
Yep.
Makes me very, very disturbed.
Yeah. Well, at least it's not dripping anymore.
You? Dripping?
Yeah.
So you didn't go to the doctor for this?
I don't.
You don't go to the doctor? You're one of those.
I'm a black man.
You're one of those guys.
We don't go to the doctor.
Yeah.
I tried the walk it off method for a week and that did not work. So now I'm actually trying to rest it and take care of it.
Oh. What was that thing that Captain America said in the second Avengers movie? You get killed, walk it off.
That's right. That's what I was trying to do. Thanks, Captain America.
Yeah, but you didn't get killed though.
Chris Evans.
You just got injured. You have to get killed to be able to walk it off.
Oh,
so when you get
fair.
killed, then it'll work.
You're lucky, Marvel. I was going to sue you.
So you are in Colorado, sir, because you just said earlier you have a wife.
I do.
You are newlywed. You just got married,
Yeah.
and the accident you had was in Colorado because you were getting married there.
Yep.
That is where your blushing bride is from.
Correct.
So
You grew up there.
and Taylor English was on the Wrestling Diaries some time ago. I think it was like in the 60s or 70s. I'm not sure. I'll probably post a link when we do the synopsis of this, but
Yeah.
you married that person.
I sure did. And I was here when you filmed her episode. I don't know.
Oh, that's right.
So
That's right.
viewers, if you want to keep up with the Well, first, now you know I was lying about not having seen him for 2 years, but you want to keep up with the narrative that's going on. I was there, and they probably mentioned me being in there once or twice in the episode. I don't know.
Yeah. The good old continuity.
Yeah.
So tell us about your nuptials.
Yeah. They were great. It was good. So I don't remember what Taylor mentioned about our relationship, but I haven't talked about our relationship on the show yet because I hadn't met her yet when the first episode came out.
Mm-hmm.
But we met last February. Cheesy enough, the first day we actually met was Valentine's Day.
Wow.
I was leading worship at the church I work
It's like
at.
a cheap rom-com about to happen.
I know. But it's whatever. It's my story. And
Yeah.
I remember, and there's actually video of me leading worship, and I see her for the first time. And like, if you watch closely, you see that my eyes keep going to this one spot, and I keep like realizing I'm staring, and I like jolt away, just because she's absolutely beautiful, and I couldn't stop looking at her. And then after the service was over, I kind of was relieved that I didn't see her when the lights came up. I was like, okay, I don't have to like figure out how to talk to this pretty girl. Like, I had just gotten out of a relationship, and I'd processed it and I was done, but I'd like just finished processing it and I was just good. So like really didn't feel ready to meet anybody yet. But she was so beautiful. And I was like, man, I don't know what I would do if I had to talk to her. And then 2 minutes later, she comes back into the room, coming straight towards me. And it's one of my coworkers introducing her to me because she's new. And our church was like, we had just lost our pastor. And so he'd had a conversation with her like, hey, just want to let you know where we're at as a church. And if you want to stick around, this is what's going on. But if not, I got a bunch of other churches that I can recommend to you. And she's like, no, man, like, I'm here for it. Let's go. And he's like, all right, cool. Let me introduce you to the staff. And so I'm on staff. And so he brought her to meet me. And so she comes up like, hi, I'm Taylor. I'm like, hey, I'm Giorgio. And I just like freaked out and just walked away. I just literally just said, hi, I'm Giorgio. And just walked away. I went to talk to your fiance actually, because that was my safety net. I was like, there's someone I know.
Yeah.
And I might have literally gone up to her and been like, hi, I'm just talking to you, and I'm freaking out. There's a really cute girl over there, and I don't know what to do.
I feel like the regular normal person would have been like when you did that, they'd be like, musicians.
Yeah. Well, she thought I was like, Taylor thought I was just being so cool, and like I was just too cool for school, and really I was just freaking out like a crazy weirdo.
Yeah.
But anyways, we developed a relationship over the next few weeks and eventually started dating. And we just realized we were best friends, and we decided to get married.
It's so funny too, because when Taylor tells the story of meeting you, it's like you're like, oh, I saw this beautiful girl. I was like kind of nerve-wracking a little bit, and I was nervous and didn't even want to be around that person. And then she tells the story, and she's like, she sees you and she thinks you're like a hottie and really cool and you do awesome music. And then she sees you hanging out with like us, and she thought like we were just really cool, like these really cool people. And then she was like, yeah, I'll never be able to hang out with people like that. Like, they're like way too cool. Like I'm not in their stratosphere. And it's just so funny to hear you say this and then hear her say that. It's like, what are the odds, right?
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting that she would think you were cool. Like what?
I mean, yeah, because obviously I'm divine, right? I mean, yeah. Stop this laughing, Mitchell. Let's start again. I'm divine.
You can't even say it. You know it's not.
I have
true.
a tickle in my throat.
You're a dork.
That's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I have a tickle. I have hay fever.
And you're just gonna have hay fever right here next to me. And just bring me in here. How rude.
Sorry. Hey, your fault.
Well, at least it's not the Rona.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Because then I could say, my Rona. Sorry.
Sad.
So what else? You do music or some crap? Go on.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what you want from me.
So obviously we did talk about your music pretty extensively in the very, very first episode.
We did.
Episode number 1.
Yeah.
Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 100. I'm going to keep saying this a couple times throughout the episode. makes me feel good.
It's exciting, dude. I'm glad you've kept it going.
It's a century.
I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm proud of what you guys have done with this show. I think it's awesome. I haven't watched every episode, but I've watched a lot of them, and I have seen it grow and like get better, and like you have really interesting people on here, really cool conversations. And I feel honored that apparently I'm so interesting. You had me on twice.
Yeah, it's funny because when we were out and we were talking about repeat guests and stuff, I was like, yeah, I only usually have like, not usually. So if I haven't asked you to come back on the show, it's not because I don't like you necessarily. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't really care. But it's just, it's, I don't know, it's happenstance or something. But with you, you're like, dude, what the crap? I didn't get invited on for a second episode. And I was like, oh, well, because I'm actually saving you for episode 100. And then you're like, oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Shut him up real quick. And then obviously I had to do it. Matt was like, hey, you probably should do that since you said it. I was like, oh, dang it.
Thanks, Matt.
But we talked about your music. Obviously, you grew up in music. We won't go like into the full details of that because a lot of the origin is in the first episode. But you got into pop punk at an early age. I think early age, if I'm recall.
I was in my teens, like my early.
The perfect time to get
mid-teens.
into it.
Yeah, dude. It was like it was made for me. I fell in love with Blink-182 and Green Day, and then I got into the emo stuff like Yellow Card and My Chemical Romance and Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy. And that's still real close to my heart.
Do you think because it's derived from punk music, do you think a lot of that had to do from you just like being a angsty teenager rebelling against school, society, people, your parents, stuff like that?
Absolutely. I was the kid. I don't know how rare this kid is, but I was the kid who my older sister told me when I was like 11 that apparently you don't have to stand during the Pledge of Allegiance. Like they can't force you to. And then I stopped doing it. So from like 6th grade onward at school, I never stood during the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, he's one of those.
I'm one of those. Well, I love this country, but I think there's a lot of like, shut up and don't ask questions that I don't like about how this country is run. And, but I did stand when I was in Texas. You do the pledge to the American flag and the pledge to the Texas flag. And I would stand for the Texas pledge.
Of course, Texas would have their own flag and their own allegiance.
Yeah. I love Texas. And I was honored to stand for those pledges, those hundreds of times. But yeah, I was kind of a rebellious kid. I got into trouble a lot.
Really?
Yeah. When I got caught, at least.
Okay. What was one of the worst times?
Oh, one of the worst times. I didn't come prepared for that.
Hey, you didn't say
well,
this was
I got it.
unforgettable.
Yeah. I guess this is the one time I got in trouble with the law. This was just stupid.
I fought the law.
This wasn't even
law one.
Yeah. This was a dumb thing. It wasn't cool. It's not even cool. I don't even know why I'm going to tell this story. But it was the worst trouble I ever got in. So me and some friends of mine, we were all just dumb 13, 14-year-olds sitting on the side of the road. And we would just throw rocks at the cars as they drove by. And then, of course, reasonably, somebody got mad and called the cops. And
so sensitive.
We all ran, and like one of my friends ratted me out.
What?
Yeah,
What a
so I was
Judas.
the only one who ended up getting taken to jail. Well, not to jail, but to the police station.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucked because like my dad was at work and he worked kind of far away. So they just had me in there for hours because they
Wow.
wouldn't let me go home because my dad wasn't home and nobody was home.
Yeah.
And so I just sat in this room for like 4 hours. It was awful. And then I ended up having to go to court. I had to do, I don't know, some number of hours of community service.
Were you the only one that got caught in that group?
I was the only one who got caught. My friends ratted me out, and I didn't rat them out because I ain't no snitch. But I was real mad because it wasn't like they weren't going to fight. They went to my other friend's house who was there,
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, who did it? And he was like, well, it wasn't me. And we're like, well, where are they? And then he told them where I was and said that I did it. It was messed up, man.
That is messed up, dude.
Ain't
Those
cool.
guys obviously didn't know the definition of the word pals.
No.
Because me and Matt have gotten to some we've actually taken the brunt for some of our friends for something that we didn't do. They did, but we took the brunt for them.
Yeah.
That's what real pals are. Sorry. Just hearing that kind of like irks me. But
yeah. I mean, to be fair, I did do it. I mean, we all did it.
Yeah.
We were all throwing rocks. So it's not like I was taking the fall for something I didn't do. But, I mean, I might have been able to get away with it if this chump didn't rat me out.
Real friends, not the band. Ride or die.
Well, the band too, probably.
Ride or die. Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, that's the worst trouble I got in, being a rebel. That was more just stupid.
Well, at least you didn't get in trouble with the law for crapping into a doctor's office ashtray and then having to go to court for it because somebody else did it. And not even someone in your intermediate friend group. I know Matt knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, long story.
Real creative.
My friend Thomas crapped in a ashtray outside of a doctor's office when they were skating. And then fast forward a couple weeks, and then a mutual friend of ours named Scott, God rest his soul, got in trouble with the law for it and had to go to court over it. And he didn't do it, obviously. And then years later, they were at a party, and I guess Thomas is telling the story. And then Scott was like, wait, that was you? You ass. I had to go to court over that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's a bummer.
What else, man? What did your parents think of all this stuff? Were they like, oh my, our little boy is such a just,
well, like
problem
I said,
child.
I got into trouble a lot, so it was only mildly surprising, but it was more like, really, dude, really, you're this dumb? And I was like, apparently. Yeah, my parents were obviously not happy at all. My dad was not happy to have to bring me to court and sit there and wait, and I pled no contest. The judge was fairly lenient. It was like, I don't know, 200, 300 hours of community service, something like that.
I've done that before.
Yeah, and it was over the summer too, so like I just had a bad summer just sitting at the library and the food pantry. Although that's technically the first food rescue work I ever did. It was court mandated.
Oh, word.
And now that's like my life. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I love doing food rescue.
Yeah, that's actually how you and I met, doing food rescue for Grace Klein Community.
Yeah.
Shout out GKC.
GKC for life.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy stuff, dude.
Yeah.
I guess it is. I don't know. It's all right. So what else? When did the bad dreams start? When did you stop talking to your uncle or whatever? I don't know.
I mean, I text my uncle a couple times a year.
Oh, you actually have an uncle?
I have, one uncle by blood that I do have is my mom's brother, John. Shout out, Uncle John. You the man. See you in October. We're having another wedding in October because
these guys,
we're just so popular.
They gotta have a wedding in Colorado and then come back here and have another wedding. What do they think, they're royalty or something?
No, so Taylor grew up in Colorado, like you said, and she has some older grandparents that, have trouble traveling. So we had originally had our wedding set for October 7th and here in Alabama, and we were just going to do that. But a couple months into being engaged, we just were having the conversation about our grandparents, and like, it's a real possibility that they wouldn't be able to come down here. And it's very important to Taylor that they are part of our getting married. And so I was like, all right, let's see if we can figure out a way to make this work. And she was planning to have a bridal shower in Colorado at the end of June. And I was like, all right, well, that means some of the people that are important to us that would have to travel to Colorado to be there are already going to travel to Colorado to be there for that. So like, what if we just have a small wedding with family in July, right at the beginning, and then your grandparents can be a part of it. And like, we just talked about it and just made a lot of sense. And I'm really glad we did it that way. Like, it's kind of a bummer that, like, you know, I would have loved for you and Cheyenne and some of our other close friends to be there, but we didn't want to ask too many people to travel and spend a bunch of money when we're already going to have another wedding.
Right.
You know, so, but it was good to, like, know that they were there, and I don't think either of them were going to make it to October. So, like, her grandmother has been saying she really wants to try to make it, but it just doesn't look feasible. So, I know it would have been heartbreaking for her and for Taylor, for her to not be a part of Taylor getting married, and, like, they're such important to each other. So, yeah, that's why we're having two weddings. We're not just bougie, crazy people. We just somewhat changed our minds a little bit after we'd already, like, booked something, but also at the same time, like, we still want to celebrate with our friends here and have a big party. So that's what October is going to be. It's going to be a good time.
So since it's in October, I'm dressing up in my Halloween outfit. I'm going to dress up like a bride.
Well, hopefully I won't mistake you for my wife.
Hey, you shouldn't have made me a groomsman.
Wait, she shouldn't be coming down the alley.
Wait a second. Is one of his groomsmen wearing a... Wait, that's not Taylor. Is that a guy? Wait, what's happening here?
That would be
epic.
Something.
And that was the last time I ever heard or talked to Giorgio and Taylor. But what a memory. He says all that, ladies and gentlemen, about the dual weddings and stuff like that, but I know the real reason, and I'll tell everyone now.
What is
they just wanted to speed up the honeymoon.
I mean, speaking of honeymoons, for anybody out there who's thinking about getting married, don't fall off a bike 4 days before you get married.
I completely forgot about that. He fell off the bike and then married and then had to do the honeymoon. Oh, dude.
Yeah. Don't do it.
That sucks. I didn't even think about that. But now I am.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, so glad that we could bring up, talk about the birds and the bees.
Yeah.
On the show.
Yeah, man.
Birds and the bees with injured knees, please. Dweeb.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry.
I forget you're such a poet off the cuff.
I just pop it off. It's weird.
Just spit rhymes.
It's hell in my head.
Imagine being your friend.
Are you guys going on another honeymoon for the October ceremony? Just, I was curious about.
Okay, so this is going to make us sound really
bougie. Let's go. You're already skating there, bro.
Yes, we're actually technically at this point planning on 3 honeymoons total.
Jeebus.
So we had a little one up in Steamboat, Colorado last week. We're going to have an even littler one in October, just like 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go down the Gulf Shores because that's
nice.
one of the first places we hung out. And then we ultimately, our real actual honeymoon, we want to take a couple weeks in Japan.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, but it's gonna cost a lot. So we're having our friends, instead of getting us gifts for our wedding,
right,
just donate to us hopefully being able to take a trip to Japan.
And my nephew, he's still going to be on board about handing you a pile of cash, which probably some of that will be to help with your honeymoon, but also to get him authentic Japanese Pokemon cards.
Yeah, dude.
So
that'd be fun.
Yeah, he was really excited when he heard that's where you're going for your honeymoon. I was like, you don't even really know this guy. He's like, I don't care. I'll throw that boy some money and he give me some Pokemon cards. And then his girlfriend's like, you are such a loser.
I think you're cool, man. And I'll get you some Pokemon cards.
I got him into Pokemon and he just took it and ran with it. I still like it. I just don't really, it's just not my bag anymore. But like he took it and ran with it his whole life. And I love that. It's interesting to see that.
Yeah. I'm not into the cards anymore, but I am into the video games. I'm stoked for the new ones coming out later this year. Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
About that too.
Yeah. Hopefully we can play together. There's going to be a co-op mode. Maybe I can get you back into Pokemon a little bit.
Yeah, and I just got a Switch, so.
There we go.
Heck yeah.
Step
I'm excited. 1. Nerd time.
Nerding out.
Nerding out. So you have a music show. This is just a random subject change. Music show tomorrow with a mutual friend of ours, Mr. B. Snipes.
Yes.
whose retreat we went to, who's also on the podcast, who also helped us last minute find a music venue.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Are you like officially in the B Snipes band? Or
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
I'm the bassist in his band. It's really fun. It's kind of like indie pop dance vibes. We goof around, we wear silly outfits, and we have a really good time. So we're playing at the Nick tomorrow night, July 10th. That's going to be a few days ago when any of you hear this, but make sure you're there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Pre-recorded, people.
But yeah, I'm excited. It's always fun. This is probably my 4th or 5th show playing bass with him. I've known him for years. We go way back. I actually met him when I was booking shows at Seed's Coffee Shop. Booked his band at that point years and years ago. It's maybe 5 years ago. And we just hit it off because we had similar music taste, and he's an amazing person and artist. And yeah, he's just kind of got this new iteration of his sound going, this indie pop vibe, and asked me to jump in. And so, yeah, we're going to play bass tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to play bass tomorrow. He's going to sing. And our buddy Kyle's going to play drums. And it's going to be really fun.
Are you guys wearing the special outfits?
Always, man.
Sweet.
That's how we do.
Well, since this... Okay, the kimonos and sunglasses. I was about to, I don't want to give it away, but like you just reminded me that this is pre-recorded.
Well, now
so
they're definitely not going to come to the show.
Right.
Okay?
They're not going to come to the show because they know now, even though it's already passed, when they're seeing or listening to this, that you guys wear kimonos and sunglasses, and you do this whole like shtick, this dramatic, like it's almost like a stage play.
Yeah, we got some dance moves, some dramatic moves that are synced to the
B
music.
Snipes totally came up with all of that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Most of it, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much
He's
all
such
of it.
an interesting guy. He has this interesting, quiet, cool resolve about him. But then he does all these just crazy, elaborate things. He's an excellent musician. He's a counselor, school teacher, martial artist. He was a comedian for a little while. I found that out the other night. I didn't even know he did stand-up comedy.
Yeah, he started doing stand-up.
I was like, wow. Just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and he's like such a humble guy too that like if you know him from any of those things, you probably don't know he does all of them because he just jumps in and you know he doesn't puff himself up.
He doesn't. That's why it's I guess when you find out that stuff, you're like, what? No way, you do all that stuff. Yeah, and he's super uber duper
attractive.
Helpful.
Oh yeah.
What the?
Huh?
Maybe you should put your pants back on. Yeah, he's a good looking cat. But I was trying to say, yes, he's super helpful. He's bailed me out of a couple tight spots. Yeah. Well, not me directly, but me indirectly.
I mean,
directly.
That's your boo. That's you, bruh.
That's true. Shout out B Snipes. You're so great.
You the man. See you tomorrow. Well, I'll see you 3 days ago.
Yeah. That was an awesome show y'all played. Man, y'all tore it up on Sunday.
Dude, I can't believe it. It was so good. You guys should have been there.
Gosh.
I told you about it a few minutes ago and you didn't go.
You could have seen the kimonos and the sunglasses. You missed it.
It was amazing.
What were y'all thinking?
And I can't believe that one dude was crowd surfing. There were only like 6 people there and one of them was crowd surfing.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Wild. They were just throwing money everywhere, just up on stage.
Yeah. I'm a millionaire now. That's crazy.
So outside of B Snipes, what else what other music projects are you doing? Are you still active with Interstate Life? Are you just doing kind of solo stuff?
So the Interstate Life unfortunately has been put on hold for a while.
Oh, I need to take the shirt off then.
No, keep it on.
All right.
We're coming back.
Oh.
There's stuff in the works. It just, like I said, I met the love of my life last year. And so I've spent most of my free time with her, like getting to know her, working on our relationship.
That's understandable.
Getting prepared for marriage.
Yeah.
And now I've spent the last week being married to her. But now that we're home, we're like kind of going to be getting back into routines. Now is actually the time where I can finally start working on it again. So I will be back in the studio soon, continuing songs that I started a while ago.
That excites me in the sense of also with Shy's Flow really kind of kicking up in gear, like you guys can kind of like help each other.
Yeah.
Feed off of each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That makes me excited. Like,
yeah.
Your network is your net worth, boys and girls.
Right. And so those songs, you sent me a thing with some songs. When did those come out?
That was her release party, man. The show on Tuesday. I guess you guys maybe weren't here yet.
Yeah, we weren't back yet.
Yeah, okay.
We didn't get back till Thursday.
Yeah, so the show was supposed to be played. Just real quick at Little Italy downtown. Something happened to their power. Something got messed up during 4th of July, so they had no power, and so they had to cancel. I mean, they couldn't even open the bar, unfortunately for them. So, we were trying to scamper and scour for new venues, and that's when I called B Snipes.
Yeah,
and we were talking about the boxing gym that he trains at, and then I work out at sometimes. And he was like, yeah, I could probably call them and see. And I was like, he was like, they do have a stage, and I was like, oh, interesting. That would be so crazy to do a show in a boxing gym. And lo and behold, he messaged me. He was like, yeah, the owners are cool with it. Just make sure, obviously, you put the place back the way you found it. And yeah, we had this big, and then it was her release party. She released 3 sample singles off of, I guess, what's going to be her future EP. Yeah, that's
that's awesome. Yeah, we were listening to
Very
him
cool.
on Spotify this morning. I didn't know they were on Spotify, and that's really cool. So check out Shy's Flow, Spotify. Looks like they're on Apple Music and everything else.
All the good ones, yeah.
It's good stuff, man, and it's just a little taste.
Yeah,
Just a little taste.
just a little taste.
Yeah, she actually, we'll be playing together a little bit in August. A little. Here's one
at the place in Montgomery.
Yeah, Cloverdale Playhouse. So here's one you can actually go to. This should be out before August 24th, I assume.
Right.
But August 24th, there's this amazing show in Montgomery, Alabama. If you're anywhere near the area, it's called the Joe Thomas Guitar Pull, and it's sort of a songwriter circle thing where we kind of sit around like this, but we have guitars or whatever instruments, and there's 3, 4, 5 songwriters that kind of take turns playing songs, telling stories, having a good time. And I'm planning on having Shy come up and do a little cameo for the show on August 24th.
That is going to be so sick.
Yeah.
That music venue is so awesome. It's like in an old, retired church, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a theater for
Yeah.
plays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's such a cool venue. It's one of the coolest venues, honestly, that I've been to. One of the coolest, small, intimate venues I've ever been to.
Yeah. And this
and I've
one,
been to tons. So.
hopefully if it's cooler. So the one we went to a show there a couple weeks ago, and it was way too hot to have it outside, but there's a little courtyard outside that sometimes if it's not too hot, we'll have the show out there. So hopefully in August, maybe. It has been the hottest summer,
It really has.
but maybe it'll cool down by August 24th a little bit so we can have it outside, and there's cool string lights and everything. It's a good time.
I'm excited about
Telling you, if you're anywhere near Montgomery, Alabama on August 24th, you're going to want to come to the Joe Thomas Jr. Guitar Pull at the Cloverdale Playhouse. You're just going to want to be there. It's going to be a good time.
That was a hell of a sell, my friend.
I mean, I'm just telling the truth.
Get this guy on the paychecks. Let him do some marketing for you guys. Dude, I'm so excited that you're getting back into the music thing. Hearing that from you, actually made me feel really, really great about things.
Yeah.
Just in different facets, obviously just for you and you doing music. And I know that you deep down inside, that's what you are. You're just a musical creator.
Yeah.
And so to do that, that's great. So to see my friend do that, but then also the possibilities of things opening up and all that. I think it gives a great plethora of options for cool stuff for the future.
Yeah, thanks.
In our, circle, I guess.
Yeah. And I actually just remembered I'm playing another show. I've been mostly playing shows with other people, and my sister is one of them. So actually on Wednesday, whatever day the 14th is next week.
Wait, which sister?
Lauren, Senorita Awesome. Has she been on the show yet?
No, we tried to orchestrate something. Schedules didn't line up.
Yeah. She just started a new job too, so it's going to be tough. But yeah, she's amazing. I'm actually going to be playing guitar for her. She also fell off a bike.
Oh, yeah.
Like a month and a half ago. But her fall was way worse than mine. But she is okay. She just can't. She doesn't have full enough use of her arm to strum the guitar. So I'm actually going to play guitar for her at a show next week.
Genevieve, when you listen to this episode, be careful. Apparently, they started some weird chain reaction, and the Ferreiras are going down bike style.
One by one. I already told her when we were in Colorado, I was like, you're next.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not going anywhere near a
be
bike.
careful. All the Ferreira siblings, they're going down.
Yeah.
2 wheels.
2 wheels of doom.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny we're talking about this. I didn't even think to tell you to bring your guitar to or if you wanted to do music today, because you did music on the very first episode. You did Blackberries, which is pretty awesome.
I'm
can sing a cappella.
I'm a little rusty right now with my own songs, honestly.
I'll slap my knees and you can do a
You got a spoon?
beatbox.
Got a couple spoons?
Spoongio.
Spoongio.
Oh, man.
Okay.
This is great, man. Episode 100. Back with my boy, Giorgio Fareira. Sir, I guess I didn't really get into this as deeply because now the show's been more fine-tuned since you were on. Not a lot. I mean, it's still very free and very open, but specifically on the whole wrestling part. But now we'll get to the part of the show where I ask you, what are the monsters and demons fighting to get out from underneath your bed and out of your closet, and nipping at you, trying to hold you back and mess you up? What are the things that you wrestle with, sir?
Yeah. I don't remember what I said last time, but it's probably not going to be much different. I've been wrestling with the same things for a while. I think a big one right now would be insecurity. I never saw myself getting married. I didn't think that was something that would ever happen for me. Didn't think I would be enough for anyone, was mainly what it was. So now that I'm freshly married, I'm like in this territory, especially growing up in a broken home. My parents got divorced when I was young. And then they both got remarried and then divorced again. And like both of each of their parents have been divorced. So like there's just been a lot of failed marriages in my family. And I refuse to let that be my story, which is why I thought I would just never get married, because you can't get divorced if you don't get married. But then I fell in love and now I'm married. And so it's, there's a lot of like negative thoughts of me telling myself I'm not good enough, or I'm not going to be good enough, or I'm going to fail, that I kind of wrestle with on a regular basis, which isn't helped by the fact that I made one of the dumbest moves I've made in a long time, just days before getting married, falling off a bike because of my own actions. Like it was entirely avoidable. But just trying not to have too much negative self-talk and just move forward and trust God, trust myself, trust my wife, that we're going to have a great marriage and an awesome family.
Wow. On the bike thing, I would say that, I mean, you're kind of like I am too. Like you gauge yourself in the things that you do, and like, every little detail. But I feel like something like that is, I mean, yeah, you're hurt and it's kind of made a little bit of a hiccup in your life, but I feel like it's kind of a trivial thing. It is just falling off a bike, it's not like something that could be much more severe for you financially, professionally, romantically, emotionally.
Yeah, it's one of those things that your brain makes a bigger deal than it is because it's you. Like if it happened to you, it'd be like, dude, you're fine. Like, don't worry about it. Since it was me and I did it, I feel like, oh, you're a piece of garbage.
Yeah. You're just an overthinker.
Yeah.
When you think you stink. That was from the your boy B Snipes men's retreat.
Oh yeah?
When you think you stink. He didn't come up with that. It's a quote from somebody else. Yeah. You're in your head, you're dead. That was the other one.
Nice.
No, yeah, the think you stink is something else. When you're in your head, you're dead. They're the same thing, though. They're synonymous. I think you're doing pretty well for yourself, man. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud of you. Not that I'm in a position to be proud of you, but I think you've came a long way. And I still remember us having conversations when we first met through Grace Klein, and we were both single, and just talking about past relationships and what we looked forward to in the future. And I remember yours just seeming a little bit more grim, and I didn't know you that well, but I was just like, this guy is way too hard on himself. I think he's got a lot going for himself, and he'll be surprised. And sure enough, you fast forward a couple years, and you got back in the dating scene a couple times, and some of those didn't work out, but you still got there. And then now you're freaking married.
Yeah.
So, it's crazy to see that kind of progression. And sometimes we don't see it. So that's always good to have like an outside perspective too. Sometimes people to remind you like, hey, you're still moving towards something.
Yeah. And I appreciate that.
I have these alternate questions. I'm going to ask you these two. It's a two-parter. Some of these can get pretty deep and pretty intimate, so you can kind of pick and choose through your catalog of things in life what you would like to divulge to us here. But I ask this question, and it's, what is one of the saddest, darkest, most painful moments in infamy in your life that you had to endure? And what lesson did you take away from it? Like, what was the takeaway from you having to deal with it?
Yeah, I guess something that I talked about a lot in therapy and wrote about a lot in like journals and stuff was when I was 13. I was living with my mom and my sisters in Texas, and halfway through my freshman year of high school, I guess I was 14. Halfway through my freshman year of high school, she sent me to live with my dad. Like, she just couldn't handle me. 'Cause like I said, I got into trouble a lot. Like, it was a lot to deal with. She was taking care of 3 kids by herself. Like, it was just a lot. So she sent me to live with my dad, and I had, that time, I moved around a lot when I was growing up. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that in the last one. So if you guys remember. So it was hard for me to make friends, but that era, that time that I was in Texas with my mom was the first time I had a group of friends. And so when I had to leave in the middle of the school year, like, that was really tough and really dark. And I was not a big fan of my dad, and like, he lived in Connecticut and I didn't like Connecticut. So it was just hard to move to this tiny little town in Connecticut and just start over again for the umpteenth time. So there's actually, I have some journals from that period of my life, to age myself a little bit. There was these websites called Zanga and Blurty and Blogger that were basically like ancient Tumblr, if you will, back in those days, where, now like you have Facebook and like social media and TikTok and stuff and Marco Polo for you to share your life. But back then we couldn't just do like video blogs, like you just could type stuff. And so that was how I kept up with my friends in Texas when I was in Connecticut, as I had this online journal, and I still have some of those that I've managed to salvage. But it was a really hard time being a teenager and starting over, trying to make friends in a really, really tiny town that I didn't like. And I don't know, I learned a lot about who I am. I think that's the age where you learn about who you are and who you want to be. And when I look back at those journals, it's interesting to see. I feel like I am now, finally, 20 years later, like, I resemble the person that I wanted to be then. And it's been a struggle. I don't think I've really been this person for too long, maybe like a year and a half, 2 years. So it took a long time for me to get there. And there was just a lot of struggling through depression and darkness. And like, that's where a lot of the negative self-talk like got really loud. Mm-hmm. And I still struggle with that. But I guess I've learned, it took a long time, but I've learned that that's not the end. Like, whatever those negative depression feelings and the negative self-talk, that's not the end of the story. It doesn't have to be. Like, there's more, and there's a way through it, and there's a way, not necessarily a way like where it doesn't happen anymore, but there's a way to process it and learn and grow from it instead of letting it just crush you. I think that's what I learned in that time.
Wow. It's heavy, bro.
Yeah.
The second half of the question is, what is one of the most happy, joyous, wondrous moments in your life? And what did you take away from that?
Well, I don't know if you heard, but about 8 days ago,
I knew it.
I fell off a bike. No, I'm just kidding.
That would be one of the worst.
Yeah, no. I married my best friend, and it was beautiful. Yesterday, I was actually working on our wedding video, so you can see the ceremony and show it to our friends. It's still a little bit of work to do because I don't know how to edit videos. I'm just figuring it out. But I got the audio sounding real good because I do know how to do that.
Nice.
And yeah, it was really amazing. It felt like a culmination. There's a beautiful moment with my mom. I walked her up the aisle in the beginning and I give her a hug and she just she just lost it. She was so emotional and she's not like that very often. She usually keeps, she's a strong Black woman. So
yeah,
she, the hard emotions, she'll keep locked up and not show them to people. And, she just kind of she broke and we both were just crying. It was just this beautiful moment. Because for me, and I don't know if I expressed this to her with words, I'm sure she felt this, but Ma, if you're listening, in that moment for me, I felt like hugging her was perfect because my favorite things about me, the core values that I have about being honest and just trying to be the best version of myself. These are all things that she taught me as a kid that I struggled with. And that's why I was getting in trouble all the time. She would, I would lie and just be lazy. And, she always fought to try to get me to be better. And I felt like that moment was a culmination of me finally learning a lot of the things that she taught me growing up. And if it weren't for her and the way that she raised me, I wouldn't be the man that I am. And I wouldn't be ready to marry such an amazing woman. So that's just one little snapshot of one piece of the day, but the whole day was beautiful. And it's just been great to start my life with my Taylor Jean and kind of bring our families together, our messy, just crazy families together. It was beautiful. I'd say that's up there. It's hard to top. It's gonna be hard to top that. Maybe when we have a kid, but for now, us getting married, that beats everything.
Nice. Heck yeah, dude. I usually I alternate between these extra tag on questions outside of the what are you wrestling with thing with this is one of them with the whole what's the saddest day in your life, what's the happiest day. And then I alternate with that and telephone time machines and legacy and stuff like that. Since this is the 100th episode, I'm going to ask you all of them. So,
okay, let's go.
Matt's got, we've been working on our prototype here, the telephone time machine, right? And it's nowhere, you can't see it. It's top. It's in Matt's dungeon along with his, never mind, we won't talk about that. But yeah, telephone time machine. We're going to be trillionaires. But we let you borrow this machine, sir. And you can call yourself back in the past, any Giorgio you want at any time frame. I mean, it could be 10 days ago, 10 years ago, doesn't matter. But let's say you're going to call a Giorgio that you feel needs to have a conversation with you now, right? The Giorgio that was most down, and maybe it was the one from the saddest point in your life, or maybe it's a different point. I don't know. This is up to you. But you call him, and he needs advice from you from the future, from your future self. Who do you call? Which Giorgio do you call? And what do you say to him? What advice, what good news, if even, do you give him about the future?
Could I pick two?
Sure.
So the first one I would call would be Giorgio from June 27th, 2022, while he's sitting at the brewery. I'd call him up before he gets on the bike and be like, hey, man.
I knew it.
It's me, you. In about 3 minutes, you're going to be on your bike and your phone's going to ring. It's not Taylor. It's not her mom. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. It's not an emergency. It's nothing important. Just keep riding. Just keep riding. Don't check your phone. That's the first call I'd make.
Not bad.
Second call would be to, I guess, me when yeah, I think sometime in my late teen years, I sort of like started losing hope in myself and in life, like pretty hard. So I would call me then because I couldn't see a future for myself. I think at the time, in hindsight, I can say now I was actively running away from the music and like the one thing that I was meant to do. I just had in my head like that wasn't an option. And so I kept trying to chase after these other things and like nothing was satisfying. So I just felt like because music wasn't an option and none of these other things were satisfying, that like I had no purpose. And so I would just try to tell myself like, hey man, I get why you feel what you feel. It seems like there's no option, but there is an option, and you have a tendency to run away from the one thing that's most satisfying to you. So I would just ask him like, hey man, just take a chance. Like lean into this thing that you think you can't do, that everybody else is telling you you're amazing at. They're not crazy. You're not crazy either. You're just a little insecure, and that's okay. But take a chance, and give it a shot. Don't completely write off something that you haven't really tried yet. And I think that's what I would want to tell myself. And I probably wouldn't listen, and everything would turn out exactly the same. But that's what I would do.
Wow. Nice. In closing and finality, what sometime hopefully well in the future, after you've pressed on from this place, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind for yourself, Giorgio? What is etched into your gravestone? What poems do people write? What songs do they sing about you? What do you remember by, as, for?
Yeah. I actually wrote a song about that back in my late teens, early 20s. Trying to remember the name of it. I haven't sang it in a long time. Gosh, I can't remember. It's but it was one of my favorite songs that we wrote as a band, because we all kind of contributed, and I just wrote the lyrics. I didn't do anything with the music. My bandmates wrote their own parts, and it was just really fun to play and to sing. I didn't actually even play guitar for that song. I would just like put my guitar down and rock out for it. But yeah, it was a song about leaving a legacy and like why I wrote songs and why I live the way I live. Like I want my legacy to be like love and growth and like solidarity, I guess is another one. Like I want people to know from my story that they're not alone and that they're not crazy, that like these things that may seem taboo to talk about, or you may feel like you can't acknowledge this feeling because it's stupid or it's embarrassing. Like it's not, like it's okay. Everybody has something like that. Literally everyone. There was actually, this could be a song that I didn't write, by the band Boxcar Racer. There's a song, There Is. That song like carried me through high school because it was, it's Tom DeLonge singing about how like if there's someone out there who's feel like if you think there's someone out there who feels just like you, there is. Like all the loneliness, all the struggles that you have, you're not the only person who feels that. And like it's okay to feel that. And the goal isn't to make that go away. The goal is to learn how to understand yourself through those feelings. So it's not just wallowing in them and just saying, oh, I'm feeling this and it's fine. I'm I feel like giving up, so I'm just giving up. Like, no, like you can ask yourself, okay, like I'm feeling this way. There's probably a reason for it. My body, my emotions are trying to tell me something. There's something that's important to me that my body and my feelings are calling out about. What is that? Let me explore that. Let me ask myself some questions and get to know me. I would want people to know they're amazing and that they're worth getting to know. So get to know yourself and learn what you really value, not by just what you think you value, but by what breaks your heart and what makes you sad and what makes you excited and what gets you pumped up. Like you just be curious about yourself, and not so hard on yourself that you don't treat yourself the way you would if you were someone else. And love other people too. But if you do that first, that's how you'll be able to love other people. That's kind of what I want people to know. It's a long, convoluted message, but to boil it down, what I want people to know from my life is love yourself and you can love other people.
Amen and amen.
Yeah.
That's great. Man, before I sign us off, let me get you to promote whatever you'd like to promote. Music, shows, your social media, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Go ahead, plug in.
Well, check out the Interstate Life. We do have music that's out on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all those things. There's more stuff coming soon. I think I said that last time, and I think I said that it was going to come out like that year.
Probably.
But this time I don't know when it's going to come out. I'm not going to make any promises, but there are songs that are in the works, in the studio, being worked on, and they will be coming out. So check out what's already there. There's stuff there right now. This Seems Legit EP. I think it's really good. I think you'll think it's really good if you check it out. Playing at the Cloverdale Playhouse in Montgomery, Alabama, August 24th. If that's a Tuesday, I'm like 90% sure that's it. But it's a Tuesday. It's always a Tuesday. So whatever the Tuesday is that week, August 24th, probably be there, Cloverdale Playhouse. And you know what? I'm going to plug, this isn't me, but Shy's Flow. CHEYS Flow, all one word. Check her out. Her music's amazing. Yeah, and just enjoy your life.
Nice. God bless you, sir. Also, check our stuff out. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a plethora of other platforms that have audio podcasts. Leave us a review. Helps us show up in the algorithm. If you like our content, if you can hear me, if you're listening, all you little twitchers, I know, Matt's got you on. Spread our stuff around. If you like it. If you don't like it, then fine. If you do like it, then spread it around. It's like what if you bought the sandwich and you like the taste of it, why would you not continue to buy it? If you had no other reason why, right? You like it. So spread the gospel around. For the video content, go to YouTube, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more content. The video is also on Spotify. Love thyself. That's what I took from this episode. Love thyself. Do you love yourself? It's hard for you to love other people if you don't love yourself first, right? You got to work on cleaning your own house before you can clean someone else's, generally speaking, right? I think that's really important. How is the king's chamber? Loving yourself. It sounds cliche, but it's really important. And like, how many people out there don't love yourself? And then also how many people struggle and they don't, because progress isn't linear. So sometimes you might think that the seed that you plant isn't going to grow, but it's just bamboo and it's just going to take some time. But once it starts, man, it won't stop. So sometimes your life might be like that. Maybe you just sit back and kind of reevaluate. Also, in the questions I ask everybody, anybody listening. This is episode 100. We've been here for 100 episodes, and for everybody that's kept up with us and watched and listened and liked and shared and told me I'm doing a good job or whatever. Thank you so much for your support and your following. It really means a lot. It really does. I don't know who you are, but if you can hear the sound of my voice, I just know that I am grateful, and I think about this more often than not. So I really appreciate it. I appreciate Giorgio coming on here, gracing us for our century episode. What is the saddest day in your life? What do you take away from it? What is the happiest day in your life? What do you take away from that? You had a telephone time machine, you could call yourself. Which you do you call in the past, and what do you say to them about your future? And what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Also, what do you wrestle with, and how can you beat it? One love.